Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pizza Motorcast. It's your host, Dave. And I got on the line with me special guest, funny car driver Dustin Corn. Hey, Dustin, welcome to the show. Dustin.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So now your funny car does not run on alcohol, does not run on nitro, runs on 118 octane?
Yeah, I have it on traditional old fuel right now, just leaded fuel. It's a little easier for me to maintain because we kind of run a skeleton crew and, just it's all about the economics, really. Just trying to keep the car together.
So now you think later down the road you might change over to alcohol or nitro?
I don't ever see the car really being able to handle nitro.
How about
I don't think it'll stay inside of its certification because of the way the cage is. I've gone through a lot of trouble the last time I had it certified, trying to add bars and do things to keep it where they would, keep it up to date, and to try to push it much farther would really just end up turning it into a car that's only gonna be like a cackle fest.
Well, how about blown alcohol?
I could convert the motor to alcohol, but again, we're close enough to where the car's limited that trying to push it much more is going to get it out of certification. It's really because of the way the cage is, being an old school design and very limited on the bars and a very small structure. It's not ever going to certify, down 6.0 or less without major modification. And, I don't want to trash the car. I'm not completely certain of its history, that I know that there's not a lot of people doing it, and there's not a lot of cars out there that are still in that configuration, and I kind of like it the way it is. Like I said, the way I have it, it's economical for me to run and take it out to different shows and events. We don't really bracket race it, and we don't do a lot of big money events, and so the car is not by any means a cash cow for me. It's just a hobby, something that I enjoy, and a little bit of a thrill ride on the days that I take it out.
Right. So let's go back into your history, Justin. When did you start getting into drag racing?
Well, I've been a motorhead ever since I was a little kid, surrounded by, mostly old cars and street rods and hot rods. I got into racing later on as I grew up because my parents really weren't able to afford to race a lot with 5 kids and stuff. So I had always admired that, and when I was young, I always wanted to ride in a funny car, and when I got the opportunity later on, I wanted to, build one, and this thing come up for sale. I decided that would be a lot neater to take something and bring it back to life.
So what was the first vehicle you ever drag raced in?
That would have probably been my old 68 Cutlass. It was the first car I had when I turned 16. And, it really wasn't anything to brag about. It was cool for a 16-year-old kid, but wasn't extremely fast or anything like that. Just something that I was young, and we took it out to the Saturday night street night at the local drag strip and hit the quarter mile. Weren't real impressed, but we were kids, and it was fun.
So after that, what else have you raced in?
I've had several trucks and cars over the years that have, progressed, and lately, as I've gotten older, I've been more interested in building exhibition-style cars. I've run a neat old gasser that does pretty good wheel stands, and then this mid-engine funny car, and I've got an old pickup truck that's pretty much like a full track burnout kind of vehicle. And
so now, when you started getting into drag racing, were there any funny car drivers that were inspirational to you?
You know, I never really focused on one particular driver. I just was always a racing enthusiast. And, you know, back in the old days, it wasn't as easy to find racing on TV. You know, we didn't have a million channels on satellite and internet and everything where you could just watch it 24/7. So it was whenever you could catch it to come on. It didn't matter if it was drag racing or monster truck racing or truck pulling, or if it had an engine on it, and I was just interested in checking it out and watching it.
How about currently right now? Are there any funny car drivers that you look up to at all?
I don't really focus on the modern racing. Like it, I'm pretty much into the nostalgia style. I work with a few of the nostalgic groups and do some exhibition shows with some of my cars. And I don't really follow today's modern racing that much.
What about the nostalgia guys? You look up to any like John Hale or Drew Sweetman, any of those guys?
You know, again, I really didn't follow it real close for one particular person. I was an all-around fan of anything with an engine, all type of motorsports.
So now, are you going to be running at the Funny Car Nationals this year?
The Funny Car National in Quaker City.
Keystone, you know, the Did
they move that?
Dennis Housewarmer's event?
You know,
I
kind of doubt it. I haven't been invited for the last couple of years. We did run that event a few years back, and it's one of those events that's sort of an invitation deal, and we haven't been back to that, so that's yet to be seen.
Now, I know you're doing Funny Car Chaos.
Yeah, we'd like to be there. We're expecting, you know, all things permitting, that we'll come up there and make a good show.
Now, are you only gonna be running at the one in Illinois?
In which city now?
The one in Illinois. Is that the only Funny Car Chaos you're doing this year?
In Illinois?
Yeah, the Central Illinois Dragway.
Yeah. Sorry, I was having a little phone issue there.
So that's the only Funny Car Chaos people can see at this year. Then you're not doing the two Texas events and the Missouri one.
Texas is a pretty long haul for us.
Yeah, you're in India.
Probably not. Yeah, we're basically in central or east central Indiana.
Yeah.
So I don't know about the Missouri one. I'm not totally aware on that. If it conflicts with any of our other events that are going on, like I said, with the other cars that I have, some of the other cars get a little more booking than the Funny Car does.
Yeah. So how many events do you have scheduled so far with the Hijinks Funny Car?
I believe we've got about 8 tentatively for next summer, or this coming season, rather. And all of those, like I said, they're weather permitting, and you never know what's going country and different tracks.
So now, last year, how many events did you run with the funny car?
Last year was a pretty slow year on the funny car for us, really. I think we only had it out 4 times, to be honest.
So now, since you've been driving the Hydrinks funny car, what's the quickest pass you made with that funny car?
We run an 833 at 156, just leaving off of the brake, not on the 2-step. And we had a little bit of issues on the big end with that one even. You know, it's not incredibly fast by today's standards of funny cars, but the chassis only certifies to 750s. And it's a hardtail chassis as far as there's no suspension, front or rear. It rides on the tires only. And it's not very forgiving to track conditions, or rough tracks, or, you know, bad weather.
Yeah,
That's part of the reason why they don't run that configuration anymore. Nobody's ever gone extremely fast in one of those.
Yeah, currently I've only seen you driving one, and Mike Racer has one.
Yeah, back motor Mike. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're, you know, it's just one of those things that they gave up on the design, and by today's standards, they don't even really like to see them. I've taken my car to some events where I've had the track owners and promoters come out and tell me I was going to have to run solo, or, you know, beg me to take it easy, and please don't hit the wall, or this and that. And I'm like, hey, you know, I didn't show up for a demolition derby.
Right.
So, I mean, I realize that the cars are unorthodox, and I drive it and respect it that way.
So now, with the gasser car, how many events you have for this year?
The gasser usually maintains a dozen or more open events. It gets booked with a few different clubs that would like to have us there. And our main club, we run with the Geezer Gassers. Chuck Lipka, been really good to us. He takes us all over the country. He gets us events farther than we even want to drive sometimes. I mean, it's been a good organization to run with. We have a lot of fun with them. They're good people, and, you know, which everyone at the drag strip is. I've always had fun at the racetrack. It seems like it's, no matter what you're driving, everybody there is a family. They always look out for each other and have the best interest for the racers and the fans. Make sure it's a good time and everyone stays safe.
Well, that's good. So let's talk a little bit about the funny car. It's a Corvette, right?
Yes.
What year?
Well, the best that I have been able to ascertain, the chassis itself was built in 71, and I don't know the original body for 71. The body on it now is a replica 78 Corvette body.
Okay.
And that's the body that was on it when I bought it. And the story I got with it, you know, from the original owners, they were longtime funny car drivers. It was the Klegerman family. They used to run a car called Fuelish. And the old man had found this car, and he remembered the days when there were a few people actually driving these. He always wanted to get it back together, and, you know, he worked at it, and his sons worked at it with him. And this is all stories I got